Hi, my name is Chris Liddle, and I am the host of The Lifestyle Chase. In 2018, I started this show to have meaningful conversations. I've interviewed over 100 different people, both in and out of the fitness industry. This podcast is something I'm incredibly proud of. Welcome to Season 4. Thanks for joining me. There's a lot that really makes a person think, because I've seen so many instances where it's like, yeah, if you do a referral, you get this. And as soon as you talked about how that becomes more like transactional, like an exchange of like money almost, then I could understand where the power would be in kind of giving the client that sense of autonomy and ownership over their journey and their power and their leverage. With that being said, I've also experienced a great sense of power in showcasing the strengths of others, which has been very clearly represented for you with PTDC when you're featuring everybody else's articles and podcasts and social media posts, and now even with your increased attention on Instagram, where I've seen the tremendous growth in your following. Oftentimes, you're featuring posts of the week kind of thing. What have you found that has been most effective with showcasing other people's strengths, and what led to that trend for you?
You're talking about just like showcasing other professionals and stuff like that?
It can be professionals, or it can even just be in your life when you've just found that you've been able to speak highly of other people instead of just speaking negatively kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, defaulting to kindness and never resisting the urge to give somebody a compliment, or never resisting the urge to say something or do something nice for somebody, I think it's just so important. Like, it's so easy to jump on somebody or something when they do something that you decide is not the right thing to do based off of a tiny little snippet on their social media. This person is wrong, I'm right. And it's so easy to jump on it, right? We kind of naturally default to conflict. It's kind of like a behavioral psychology protective mechanism. But really, how many times has somebody come out of their way and be like, hey, I caught you. I caught something you did. That was pretty good. That was good there, what you did. I caught it. Didn't even know that person was watching, but holy shit, that person is now risen in your book. Now, imagine if that person is somebody who you might potentially even admire, right? Or somebody who you might think is farther along in their career than you might be, right? Maybe they are, maybe they're not, but you believe that they are. And so you admire that person. Now, imagine if that person recognized you in something you did and was like, yo, I saw what you did there. That was pretty cool. That's pretty impactful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to stick with you. And so I've always believed very strongly that my success is going to be completely dependent on how successful I can make other people over the years. And part of that is basically being a talent scout. Like, are there indications early on amongst people, particularly who work in health and fitness, because that's my career, that somebody is just good shit? Like, they're just doing stuff the right way for the right reasons. And what they're doing right now might not work, but odds are they're going to find something that's going to work really well at one point. And I look for those indications. And so the perfect example is this podcast. Like, if anybody listening to this gets value from it, I'm ecstatic. But the honest truth, Chris, I'm doing this to talk to you. Like, I want to get to know you better. Because the sheer fact that you have a podcast is an indication to me that you're the type of person who's more serious about what you do. You're resourceful. You're going out of your way to go above and beyond in some way that serves your clients and that's going to serve your career moving forward. Whether or not, I didn't even look. I didn't know you had done 200 shows, because the reality of it is, I don't care. I don't care if this is your first show. I don't care if this is your 1,000th show. The fact that you have a podcast is an indicator to me that you're somebody who's probably going to do some good shit at some point in your career. Maybe it's this podcast. Maybe not. I don't really know. And so I'm constantly looking for stuff like that, because You're only as successful as the people that you help come up with you. There's great, like, there's really interesting examples to that. I mean, you look at some of the most successful and profitable ecosystems in the world out there. For example, like WordPress by Automatic, powers a huge amount of the web. Something like 85% of the revenue that WordPress makes goes to companies outside of WordPress. Basically, companies that are profiting off of the ecosystem that WordPress has made. There's a lot of examples like that. And it's actually really, really powerful when you think about it. You basically create this environment where you win because you're making a whole bunch of other people win. And then everybody gets lifted up. This is nothing new. A rising tide lifts all boats. Like, I'm not making up anything here.
Mm-hmm.
But in this day and age, it just seems like people are just trying to be louder than one another, if that makes sense. And forgetting that the best way to actually win is to support one another and get together with good people and build community with one another and carve out your own paths together.
Well, I mean, one of the biggest motivators for me in asking that question and kind of digging deeper into that was because, like, I find in an industry where we are focused on building, like, the strength and confidence in others, it can become quite toxic with insecurity and just, like,
Mm-hmm.
competition. And honestly, with the high turnover in this industry, like, if someone's wanting to last longer than 2 years, you got to get on board with that rising tide lifts all ships mentality. And you got to be willing to be able to see what other people are good at and just like get loud with it, like showcase other people. Like, it's not going to take away from your business. So I think, like, if I could emphasize anything, it would be that. And a cool thing was, as I heard you on Andrew's show, you were talking about the whole, like, if you're seeing someone putting an effort towards a podcast, you can
Yeah.
foresee how they would do big things in their career because it's showing that consistency. And that's honestly what motivated me to reach out to you. Like, I mean,
Oh,
I
cool.
knew your schedule was busy, but I was like, okay, no, that's the sign I needed. I'm like, let's go. Like, I've interviewed so many people, I'm surprised I haven't asked yet, but that was definitely what inspired me